In 2014, about 10 years ago, my esteemed and respected brother, Tom Holland, approached me about us doing a podcast, an audio message that he wanted to send to as many as he could. He referred to it as Standing Up for America. And while it was certainly important, very relevant, urgently needed at that time, even now 10 years later, the message is even more important. We're going to pause from doing the Tom's Pastime Porch for a few weeks, and I would like to encourage you to listen to the audio message of Brother Tom Holland as he speaks about America, the love that he had for this country. He's already gone on to meet his reward, but he loved America passionately. And the research and the thoughts that he presented are worthy of our time. And now, Brother Tom Holland about America.
Today we speak for the good people of this great land called the United States of America. We speak for these good people who sometimes may feel they don't have a voice. You have one now. We are here to say to the American people, the good people in this country built it, and the good people in this country are the defenders of it and have been all along through its history. The American people are sick and tired of the troublemakers and their encouragement by the media. Let me read to you from the Constitution of the United States of America, the First Amendment, and I hold a copy of the Constitution now in my hand, and I'm reading Amendment number 1 that was ratified effective December the 15th, 1791. Amendment 1. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably, I want to repeat this now, the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. When I think about what has happened the past few months in Missouri, I think about also what happened just very recently in Baltimore, Maryland, were peaceable assemblies characteristic of what was happening in Ferguson, Missouri, and in Baltimore, Maryland? Or does someone have a strange understanding of what peaceable really means? Was the burning of cars and businesses and the stealing, the looting, was this guaranteed by the Constitution of the United States? What about the so-called leaders of the black communities who were spewing their venom and hate? Were they encouraging peaceable assemblies? Were these TV camera-hungry leaders urging people to respect the laws of this nation and to trust our trial-by-jury type settling problems in a setting of a courtroom? Or were the audiences aroused to anger and led to do as much destruction as they possibly could? I'll not reflect on your intelligence by answering that. And what about the leading of the mobs to hate the people who risk their lives every day to protect us? I'm talking about the law enforcement people, the men and women in police uniforms. I'm talking about the state troopers. I'm talking about the detectives. What about the hatred and anger aroused toward those brave people? I'm not here asserting that all policemen are fine, upright citizens of this country. But I'm telling you, I'm grateful that we have policemen to protect us. And when I think about what happened recently, the hatred that had been generated against policemen, and the 2 policemen in Mississippi who were murdered. Now, the media can call it being shot. The point is they were murdered. So, we have 2 more families to grieve the loss of loved ones, wives made widows, children denied the love of their daddy, and the radical so-called leaders with blood on their hands. Did the Constitution, respecting TV big boys, put the emphasis on how un-American these radical leaders were? Or did the TV big boys put the emphasis on the radical leaders and thereby contribute to the anger that was being led and the unreasonable demands that were being made? I'm not going to reflect on your intelligence by answering that. You be the judge. But the media has blood on its hands. So what could the media have done? They could have refused to feature the radical leaders. They could have said, you are witnessing un-American activities. We settle our law problems in courtrooms of law. But that's the last thing we would expect from the TV bully boys. We know the guideline of the news business, and that guideline is conflict drives the news. It's not a deep, dark secret. But I have some news for the news media. They're losing the respect of thinking people. The American people now know these big boys in those TV plush offices and their propaganda pushers, their lackeys. I'm not the only one who, when Walter Cronkite, with his reading of what had been written for him, could end by saying, that's the way it is, and I would say, and that's the way it ain't. And you English teachers, please be understanding of that word ain't. The last thing the big media boys will do is to try to discourage radicalism and anarchy. But, you know, they've got free staging for their TV programs. Man, all they got to do is bring in the sound trucks and the cameras, and it's ready-made for them. Remember, they are driven by their slogan that conflict drives the news. It would be time, I think, for some of these big boys who run the TV networks to show demonstration of love for this country and to identify these radical leaders for what they really are. Is this not un-American to try to lead people to anarchy, to try to arouse people's anger to the point they're going to be killing, they're going to be burning, they're going to be robbing, they're going to be looting? Is that real Americanism for leaders to lead people to do that? I'll not reflect on your intelligence by answering that. Dear people, I'm telling you, it's time to take our country back. It's time to let these people know you have had your day, you have had your say, you have had your way, but your day is passing away. There is an America out there that knows the history of this great land, that knows our heritage, that knows we were built to be one nation under God, that can sing the national anthem with respect and has no respect for people who put on a show with our national anthem at a sports event or car race. There are too many veterans in this land who laid their lives on the line for this country, for the national anthem which they respect to be mocked. There are too many fathers and mothers, perhaps with the memories of sons and daughters that were lost in war, because they laid their lives on the line for this country, for the national anthem of this land to be mocked, for the flag of this country to be burned. God forbid that these people have their way. They've had it long enough. It's time for the American people to say enough is enough. God bless America.
Same Publications appreciates your being with us today and listening or watching this material. Be glad to help you in any way in the future.